I'm Rose Hanson.
I'm Josh Widdicombe.
And this is How We Live with Style.
This is how Rose lives with style. I'm nothing to do with it. Look at me.
This is our house in Cornwall in Mullion. We bought it in 2022.
A long time ago.
It feels like it's been quite a labour of love. We absolutely love Cornwall. I used to come here all the time with my mum on our summer holidays.
I support Plymouth Argyle. I have since I was a kid. That's what brings me back to Cornwall. It's easy access for the matches. I'm only a 2.5 hour drive away. And also we wanted a kind of place that felt totally different from London. I didn't contribute much, but the point was, I think if someone's good at something, you should let them do it. Me chipping in is of no use.
I probably wouldn't listen either, would I?
Exactly, that's one of the other issues.
The pool, it doesn't have any chemicals in it. It has a whole filtration system. The guys who put the pool in said that you might get newts living in there, which, if you like newts, then that's a really, that's great.
You kind of go, the sea's just over there. Is there any point?
Yeah.
But actually, it was the best decision we made when doing the house, because I was involved in it.
The reason we went for wildflower down here is mainly because it's really good for wildlife. It encourages loads of bees, like you can hear them at the moment, and there's loads of butterflies.
It was mud for months on end. And there's like the original trees from the orchard that were here when we moved in that drop hundreds of apples during the summer.
We've never really had a garden this large, so it was a real lesson in how to design a garden. Obviously we had help with that. Up here we have our patio area where there's like 1 million seats. So there's a wide choice of wherever you want to sit, and then you come down to the kind of slightly more formal lawn, which leads down to the pool. And then there's more seating up there, like that's a real sunspot, so you could stay there till the end of the day and you wouldn't need to move. And then you follow this path down here to the sauna.
You didn't want a hot tub, you hated a hot tub.
No, I'm not.
And I prefer a sauna.
Yeah, sorry for the hot tub fans. I'm not really into a hot tub. When we're here, we basically use it every day. It's essentially a way to escape from our children and each other, maybe. Should we head into the house? Okay, so this basically used to have, above us was the upstairs glass conservatory, and downstairs here was a bathroom and essentially a downstairs bedroom.
Yeah, kind of dark bedroom.
Yeah, but it was really, really super damp, so it would have been not a very nice place to stay. So we were like, right, okay, actually to make it more usable, we should rebuild the extension and say goodbye to the quite hot glass conservatory. Yeah. You initially wanted it to be a bar.
Stroke games room,
Games
that
room.
kind of thing. There was talk of bar billiards rather than pool. Not that anyone's ever played that.
I know, I didn't even know what it was.
No, I had to Google it to kind of check what I knew what it was.
There's two things in this room that actually kind of made the whole room come together after we'd like vetoed, sorry Josh, the bar billiards and the games room. But I'm quite an impulse buyer, so this pair of sofas and the slightly mad mirrored units were a real impulse buy from like an Instagram dealer who I just buy things off all the time. Once the sofas were in, we're like, these are amazing, we don't need to cover them, they're like original Knoll sofas, like brilliant. But the mirrored units, we were like, there's nowhere else for these to go. So we spent so long like checking the floor, measuring the ceiling, because we had to relay all the floor. We're like, I hope they fit, I hope they fit, I hope they fit, like keeping us awake at night. They arrived and they didn't fit. But luckily, we just chopped off the bottom and managed to get them in. And then it gave the whole room, like it's kind of almost a bit like, it's like an adult's room, but often the kids just come in here and trash it all the same.
I think the best thing in the house is opening up the doors in the sitting rooms and kitchen onto the patio, and it's the morning and it's sunny. Listening to kind of the birds and the bees in the garden is the most relaxing thing you can do in the world. So I'm going to leave you to it because, let's be honest, I've got nothing to offer. So you can carry on and show them the rest of the house.
Okay. Okay, so this is the upstairs. That's where the kind of upstairs conservatory used to be, and now it's 2 double bedrooms. There's a bit of a stripe theme going on in those bedrooms. So there's striped carpet, which we got from like a designer carpet outlet. Go onto this website, you can put in what size carpet you need, and it will just bring up loads of offcuts. So it's a nice way of getting a really decent carpet, but not having loads and loads of waste from it. In the bathrooms, we have a blue and a yellow bathroom that are striped along the floor and on the back wall, making the bathrooms feel quite spacious, quite tall, with the stripe going up to the ceiling. We've got 5 double bedrooms with ensuite, and this is the 6th bedroom. And this is a twin room because we have 2 children. And the first thing that you'll notice about this room is the wallpaper. Although it's all over the walls, it is quite a calming room, and it's so light that it can take it. And we also felt like if you were an adult in here, you still would feel comfortable, like you weren't sleeping in a kid's bedroom, even though that is mainly what it's used for. Like, it's not too cutesy. And then I absolutely love keeping it within the one tone, these Beata Hayman lights. With the headboards, I love that idea of kind of, I know everyone talks about colour drenching, but I love that kind of pattern drenching. It also keeps the room feeling nice and big if you've still got the same print on the headboard. So just to make sure that we had it completely lined up, we got some of the wallpaper and basically made headboards for our upholsterer for her to essentially just copy. I think she did think we were quite nuts but I mean, it worked, and they look really, really satisfying every time I'm in here. This is the family bathroom with our infamous bath, which is from Water Monopoly, and it's basically massive, and it was probably our most kind of extravagant purchase for the house. I've sadly only had 1 bath in there so far, which feels really sad. But we wanted to keep it quite kind of luxe in here, but still, you know, like usable. Kids can get water on the floors, so we've got marble floors. And also, you know, with the shower curtain, we're a big fan of a shower curtain, and I like a shower curtain that feels more like a curtain, has like a pleat at the top, rather than something kind of plasticky. And basically we're going to bring out our own shower curtains with Penrose Tilbury, so this is one of the first ones that we've made. I'm a real hoarder of old fabrics. I found this old Pierre Frey fabric online on eBay and was like, right, I'm going to buy that, and somewhere down the line I'm going to use it. We have this mega bath, but then we have these really classic tiles, really different from the bathrooms in the double rooms. And somebody online had seen this kind of really classic style and was like, well, it looks like a butcher's shop, which I was actually quite pleased about. I quite like a aesthetic of a really old butcher's shop, so I was like, I'll take that. This is the master bedroom. This is where we stay, and in here there's we wanted it to be like really kind of luxurious and very calming. One of the pieces that is my absolute favourite probably in the house is this wardrobe, which originally started as just a really bog standard pine wardrobe, and then we painted it a really similar colour that we've got in the room downstairs, and we've just felt like it really needed something extra just to make it, they're so big that you want to kind of make them more of a feature. In fact, we've got another one next door which is ever so slightly different. And the colour in here, we've gone for a really, really super soft green. The guy who used to live in the house, as I mentioned, was an artist, and this room was originally quite a strong green, but it really suited the room because you get all the green off the garden. So we've got this lovely Edward Bulmer calming green in here. All of the bedrooms we have bolster cushions, and they're mainly made out of fabric that I've basically kind of hoarded off eBay or Etsy or Haynes. I just store it kind of everywhere. There's probably some in that drawer, anywhere that I can hide it, and then Josh will go downstairs and be like, there's a massive roll of fabric in the cellar. So, but it will, I've said to him, it will all, it all finds its place. There's plenty of bolster cushions that are needed. In any bedroom, I think lighting is super, super important. So it's really good to have something that you can read by, and it's a slightly more functional light than I would normally go for, but sometimes you want something that's just going to blend in rather than overpower the space. And then the same with these wall lights. We originally had something quite flamboyant up there, but actually they were kind of a bit too much. So these are just really, really super simple. Another thing in this room is the fireplace. We actually took out the fireplace that was here initially, which I know might upset some people, but I didn't believe that it was an original fireplace when the house was built originally. So I felt like it wasn't the worst thing in the world to put something in that adds a bit more texture into the room, and the marble is perhaps like a bit more of a modern marble. We actually got these fireplaces from a guy on Etsy, and he didn't tell us when he was turning up or when he was delivering them, and we just got this call like, I'm outside the house, and basically just dumped them. So coming downstairs, just down there is the dining room that we were in earlier with the kind of mad mirrored units and the sofa. And then the checkerboard that we have in that room continues all the way through this corridor. It's a great flooring company that we use called Floors of Stone. And we kind of always knew that we wanted to go with this because it has a real impact when you come into the house, and it really separates off this area. And it's great to look down and see it, like very, very satisfying view. And then off this room we've got a WC, which I call like the disco toilet. It's like wrapped in Zalige tiles, and it has some really amazing Italian lighting in there, which slightly infuriated my electricians because it arrived in pieces, but they've done an amazing job. And then further down is the gym, but if we carry on this way, in here is the kitchen. So the big thing in this room is this kitchen table, which used to be an old haberdasher's table, hence it being so wide. But originally it lived in the dining room until we decided we wanted to get it in here. But the day that we decided we wanted to move it was the day after we'd all kind of been out after we'd finished the project, and my builder was pretty hungover. So there was about 5 of us trying to lift it in. Yeah, I would say he was really close to throwing up. So this table now lives in here and can never move. This room wasn't actually originally the kitchen. The kitchen was in what's now the kind of the TV room, the snug. And so we just thought actually moving the kitchen in here, where you have this like amazing view into the garden and all of this space to deal with, rather than having a dining room in here, was like much better for the house. There used to be this was walled off, and that room was separate as well, and we've just basically opened out the whole space so it's one long room. It's now just really is like the best room in the house, and everyone just spends all their time in here. There's 2 amazing antiques places in Exeter that you drive past on the way down, and Charlie and I, who is my business partner who helped me design the house, and we're now Penrose Tilbury together, we would always stop off and like come out with something like, you pick up a pair of candlesticks and you're like, okay, these are amazing, they have to go up here. And then here we've got some Victorian glass finger bowls, which, I mean, I've never used, but they also look great up here. Maybe one day I'll use them. And then these are sterling silver ice cream bowls. Everyone needs that. As you can see, I've just polished that one there, not the rest. It took me about 20 minutes, so maybe I should do the rest, but it's actually like, it goes everywhere, so maybe it'll just be that one for now. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed looking around the house. I think I can actually hear Josh coming back from his run. He's really flat-footed, so I'm gonna go and meet him in the sauna. Don't forget to subscribe to the Times Life and Style YouTube channel.